Hi there. In this video, I'm going to share with you all you need to know about import business idea, and even so, I'm going to go beyond to share with you 7 products through which you can make money by conducting the import business in Kenya. Guys, we're talking about there being many products out there which enter the country each and every day, and this so because Kenya relies on a huge chunk of imports for it to run its economy. All these I'm gonna share with you in this video. Of course, you're gonna learn all you need to know about import business. I'm pretty sure you've heard, for example, people out there saying they do imports from China. They, for example, bring clothes into the country from China. They, for example, bring whatever products out there into the country from China. How exactly do they go about it? And even so, as a beginner, what do you need to know for you to be able to jump into this business? All that I'm going to be discussing in this video. You are all much welcomed to the Money Daily YouTube channel. My name is Afagza Sifuna. And by the way, guys, I'd really appreciate if you could subscribe to this channel. Subscribe for you to be getting such awesome videos regularly. Thank you for subscribing. Having said that, import is one awesome way for you to be in business. More so because if you think about it in the broader spectrum, we're talking about you being in the upstream. More so because you are dealing with products coming from the source to the point of landing, and then from there, it is other business to take it up. In essence, you aren't really involved in retail. You're targeting big wholesale customers and even big select retailers. And with that, also it assists you to focus on your specialization because you are dealing with those customers who are actually purchasing these products in bulk. And that tells you the propensity to make profit is awesome. I know some people out there might argue you'll incur taxes and so forth. It is true. There are a myriad of indirect taxes which are going to incur, as you're going to see in this video. But the good thing is that these taxes are indirect in that you can't push them to the end consumer through pricing. That's why you're going to pay the taxes, but you're going to recover your money through selling to traders in the country. Imports run the economy because there is a myriad of products out there which are demanded in the country each and every day. And of course, for most of them, it is a standard import procedure, unless for a few which require, for example, additional license. Things like, for example, medicine. Things like, for example, armor. Things like, for example, some types of liquor. This might require additional licenses, but for most out there, it is a standard import procedure. And talking about standard import procedure, guys, these are the 3 things you need to know, or the 3 key agencies, or even the 3 key laws which you need to know for you to be able to jump into this space and have a thorough understanding of everything. Who are you going to be working with? Which agencies, right? Which laws are going to be guiding even taxations in this space and stuff like that. And having said that, these are the 2 important agencies which you need to know, and of course, you're going to be working with them more and more as you jump into this business. First agency, Kenya Revenue Authority. Of course, the taxman had to be the first one on that list, more so because there is a myriad of taxes out there which you need to comply with for you to be in good standing and continue doing this business, right? And then secondly, the Kenya Ports Authority, KPM, which actually is the custodian of the point of entry of these products. And for Kenya specifically, we're talking about Mombasa or even Malaba border in case you get the products from Uganda. But in this context, we're talking more about the products entering the country from the port of Mombasa. So KPA is a key agency which you're going to be working with frequently. And then beyond these key agencies, which are national agencies, also you're going to be working with clearing agents. In essence, it is those personnel or those staff out there who have mastered the procedures and can advise you or even can guide you with regards to how to go about conducting import more efficiently. And of course, I'd really encourage you to work with these clearing agents, more so because you're gonna have lots of the headache relieved of you. These clearing agents have all the know-how, and in fact, they are on top of their game with regards to what you need to do for you to be able to continue importing products into the country. So work with a clearing agent for the process to be much faster. And by the way, guys, when you're talking about import out there, most of the times it takes somewhere between 1 to 3 weeks for products to reach the country, assuming they're coming from the Far East. It's going to take 1 week, for example, in case you are paying a higher price for it to get the products, for example, into the country through maybe DHL or even EMS. And for this, we're talking about maybe high value, light kind of products. But for bulk products out there, most of the time it takes about 3 weeks for them to reach the country. And then, with regards to import duties, I'm very sure by now you have an understanding that actually you're going to pay some duties and taxes for you to get products into the country. With regards to import duties, it varies from somewhere between 0 to above 25%. But the three typical bands are 0, 10% and 25%. All these depending on the class of the goods getting into the country. And of course, this is actually guided by the East African Common External Tariff, which is actually abbreviated as EAT. You know, there is a common East Africa tariff with regards to the tariff or the duty charged on most of the products entering the region. And it is standard for the entire East Africa region. So you're going to pay something depending on the class of the products. More so, in case the products are, for example, those most sensitive products, you might even end up paying more than 25% to get them into East Africa. And then the second duty which you're going to be able to pay is what we call excise duty. Yes, guys. Also, Kenya specifically charges excise duties for you to get some products into the country. And more so, we're talking about products which have been manufactured. In essence, it is tax charged by the government, but this is also an indirect tax because also the price is expected to be pushed to the end consumer. And most of the times, for some products out there, guys, even people out there call them sin tax. Things like, for example, high excise duty out there on things like alcohol, high excise duty out there, for example, on things like tobacco products, you name it. But this is also just a way of the government to be able to collect additional revenue. So they're going to charge you excise duty on your products. And of course, for this, you're going to also push it to the end consumer through the pricing factor. And for this, it also varies greatly. And it ranges from somewhere between 0% to even 25%, depending on the type of product. More so, those manufactured products out there getting into the country. And by the way, the logic for this is to assist the economy within the country to continue doing very well, while also appreciating the need for the country out there to be able to get additional products to complement whatever is in the country. Like, for example, bottled products out there, manufactured products, all these are imposed to excise duty. And by the way, these are actually guided by an excise duty act in Kenya. Okay? And then, guys, the third set of fees or levies which you need to know is what we call the import declaration fee and also railway development fee. SDR minors, we have to pay for it, guys. So with regards to the import declaration fee, the IDF is charged at about 2%, and then the railway development fee is charged at 1.5%. So guys, these are the two last fees which you need to be aware of because you're gonna incur them. IDF and railway development levy are 2% and 1.5%. And by the way, these two are also anchored in the Fees and Levies Act in the country. And by the way, these are fees relating to government matters, okay? These are monies going to the government. Beyond this, in case you are also engaging the services of a clearing agent, be sure you're gonna pay their respective fee. More so because these are mostly independent services which you opt to engage. So you're gonna be able to pay the clearing fee based on the agent you engage and even based on the company which you engage. But at the end of the day, this might sound quite complex, but guys, believe you me, they are actually a very simple thing to go through. And I'm saying so because, as we're speaking right now, the procedure and even documentation which facilitates imports into the country has actually been streamlined a lot over the past 10 years. And I'm saying so because about 10 years ago, we were talking about you requiring even almost 20 documents for you to be able to do imports into the country. At this particular point in time, all these have been condensed into about 7 documents. And with that, let's talk about the next part. The documents which you require for you to be able to do import into the country, and more so, what do these documents really mean? And then the very last part, I'm going to talk about the key products which you can target to do the imports on for you to be able to make a good profit, right? Let's now talk about the key documents, the 7 documents I've talked about, right? Document number 1 is the IDF, the Import Declaration Form. In essence, this is a document which is actually detailing what that import is all about. That's why it's called the Import Declaration Form. And actually, as I mentioned, guys, we also have an import declaration fee, okay? And then, second document is the pro forma invoice of the exporter. You know what, guys? Also, the government wants to know that even if so, you are claiming you are importing something into the country, it was a legitimate business. Was the importer able to give you a pro forma invoice? In essence, the basis upon which you submitted or put in your payment. So, this is also a significant document and actually a requirement for you to attach while trying to get clearance. That is the pro forma invoice from the exporter, okay? And then the third document is what we call the COC, Certificate of Conformity. Guys, this is a massive document and a major document in anything relating to shipping and import internationally. And I'm saying so because for most countries out there, this is one of the key check documents out there, mostly because it actually speaks to the quality of the product getting into the country. And the basic question is, does that product, for example, meet the quality standards which have been set by international bodies out there? Talk about, for example, the CE markings. Talk about, for example, the ISO markings. Talk about, for example, the clearance by the FDA and so forth. Guys, Certificate of Conformity speaks to it meeting the relevant international quality standards out there, most of the CE and the ISO certification. So any import into the country need to have that attachment to ensure that actually it meets the conformity. And related to that, guys, too, also we have a fourth document which is actually the pre-export verification of conformity, PVOC. Beyond just the manufacturer, for example, or that exporter, for example, claiming that they meet these conformity requirements, there also need to be that pre-export verification. And by the way, that is not a document prepared by the exporter. It is prepared by actually different centers out there. To give you an example, China, for example, has over 15 centers within the country, spread across the country, which assist KEBS, which is actually the Kenyan agency for standards in the country, with actually confirming that products from that country are actually meeting the quality standards which are specified. In essence, it is these different centers out there which actually speak to the fact that these products also have been examined and they meet these conformity requirements, right? And then the fifth document is the packing list. In essence, a list specifying what a particular consignment of products is all about. And by the way, this is an essential thing, mostly because from the revenue perspective, because the country has laws and order with regards to, for example, how it charges taxes. Think about it this way, for example, guys. A container comes to the country and it has multiple different classes of products in that particular consignment. How does the country charge taxes on these products? More so, speaking about some products out there which not all of them per se need to be opened bit by bit. How is tax specifically imposed on these? Of course, that packing list is going to be fundamental in informing the government what it requires, for example, to bill, and even so, just sharing insight with regards to what a particular import constitutes. And then guys, the sixth document is what we call the bill of lading. Yes, in essence, it is a document, most of a contract between an importer and the transport of the freight company, indicating what that company has been transporting. In essence, it shows the type of product, the quantity, and everything related to that particular product. And this also gives more insight with regards to what that product entails, how much of that product is getting into the country, and even so, who brought that product into the country. And all these assist with actually also tracking the movement of that product from the high seas into the country. And this is very fundamental when it comes to even future follow-ups on any particular import, right? And then the seventh document, which actually it is very personal and very subjective to specific to a particular import, is any specific license for a particular import. As I had mentioned, guys, different products out there might require additional licenses for you to be able to import into the country. Things like, for example, liquor. Things like, for example, armor, medicine, and such kind of products. This might require additional licenses. So that is an optional kind of like documentation, which is going to be fundamental in assisting the government understand and even clear for you the products to enter into the country. So guys, those are the 7 critical documents which we might require, of which 6 are the basic minimum. The other ones are optional. And of course, the list could even grow to over 10 documents depending on what someone is importing into the country. And now guys, to the exciting part, which are the 7 products you could look, for example, to jump into and target for you to be able to turn in a good profit while doing imports. Guys, I'm going to talk about 7 products which are essential and actually they are fast moving products into the country with regards to how Kenyans purchase different products out there, and also with regards to the basic of needs of Kenyans. And of course, we're talking about you getting these products from China, for example, because of the economies of scale and also the possibility of you getting these products from China at a much cheaper price compared to getting them, for example, from Kenya or even around this country. And this all because the Far East has key economies of scale. In essence, labor to produce has gone down, and also inputs because of there are existing different industries out there which specialize, for example, in even making parts of anything. In essence, lowering down the cost of these ultimate products. And with that, the first product which you can import into the country and make good amounts of money is electronic products. I'm talking about everything electronic, guys. Thinking about woofers and subwoofers out there. Thinking about watches. Thinking about laptop. Thinking about TVs, you name it. You can jump in the space of importing electronics into the country and you will be in very good business. And I'm saying so because we have people out there who have become multi-millionaires by importing electronics into Kenya. And it is a no-brainer. Import electronics into Kenya are much cheaper compared to any effort internally to make electronics. And this is because of there being economies of scale in China. And even guys, some of the biggest brands out there, which are importing, for example, are European, are American, actually have manufacturing bases and manufacturing contracts in the Far East. Even things like, for example, Apple. And just to give you an example, in China, we're talking about there being dedicated companies even to assist, make simple parts of an electronic. Like, for example, a conductor. You can find different companies out there making conductors. And with that, it means that particular single piece going to that particular electronic is going to come down substantially in price. And now talking about even 100 different parts whose price have really gone down drastically because of economies of scale being brought together is going to mean that also the ultimate product is going to be way cheaper. And guys, that is where we have an opportunity too, because you're going to get electronics from China much cheaper and then sell them in Kenya even twice the price, and be able to make good amounts of money. Albeit for imports, you won't be selling as a retailer, but you're going to push this cost also to the retailers for them to be able to push to their clients, okay? And then the second class of products is pharmaceuticals. Yes, guys, things relating to medicine and even other commodities bordering pharmaceuticals. This also is a good product to import into the country. And I don't think I need to elaborate much further in that. The same principle applies. economies of scale from the Far East, which actually mean that the products getting into the country are gonna be much cheaper, even after including the freight charges, including the taxes, as compared to those products manufactured in the country. And of course, the government has a way, for example, protecting this space and also harnessing the manufacturing space in the country, but we still aren't there yet. So you can't jump into the pharmaceutical space and be able to make insane amounts of money. To give you a simple example, people, for example, imported face masks into the country when COVID-19 started from the Far East. Guys, these people actually became multi-millionaires in just weeks because they could get this product from China, face masks at very cheap prices, and then bring them into the country. Of course, we had companies within the country which were also doing this particular kind of business, but their economies of scale are not just right for that particular point in time because of materials being expensive, and even they didn't have the specialty of ensuring they have streamlined manufacturing processes. This meant products from China were actually much cheaper, and that's still the case, guys. You can look to jump in pharmaceuticals and be able to make good amount of profit too, okay? And then the third class of products which you can import and make good money is automotive. I don't need to say more, guys. Kenya relies mostly on vehicles from the Far East, and with that also there are very many companies out there making spare parts in the Far East. Guys, you can't jump into this space and be sure you're gonna make a killing, because you getting automotive parts from the Far East into the country, more so for those essential automobiles in the country. Talk about vehicles like Toyota, Mazda, key vehicles on the roads in Kenya. Guys, you're gonna make a killing. This all because you're gonna be able to get those spare parts from outside there at much cheaper price, bring them into the country, and of course, we're talking about there being a high demand of these services in the country. Just going by, for example, the auto repair shops we see in the country, the car wash we see in the country, the petrol stations we see in the country. And be sure you're gonna make a killing with this, because talking about spare parts, talking about even lubricants, talk about anything relating to automotives in the country, and be sure you're gonna be able to make insane amounts of money, even twice what you've incurred to purchase these products from out there. And of course, we're talking about an evergreen situation. This all because Kenya is a country on the move, and with that, it also means that the demand for these services and also auto parts is actually even throughout the year. Unlike those seasonal products out there, people must move, and with that, it means also the repair of motor vehicle parts must continue to happen on a regular basis. Okay? And then, guys, the other product you can import to the country and make good amounts of money is clothing products. Yes, guys, anything which is wearable on someone's body, clothing products, and with this we're talking about both physical clothes and even shoes. Guys, with that, you can make a killing. This is a product which is also ever in demand, and with that, be sure you're getting these products from the Far East, from China, where we have economies of scale, things like shoes, guys, things like even garments, which are manufactured at way much cheaper prices out there. Getting them into the country is gonna mean that actually you're gonna be able to make a huge killing. More so because we're talking about products that are ever in demand. More so if you're targeting, for example, fast moving products when it comes to clothing, shoes, ladies' clothes, kids' clothes, be sure you're gonna be able to make a killing. And by the way, I can give you an example. We have, for example, in the recent past seen the sprouting up of kids, clothes, and baby shops in the country. This is because there are those savvy business people in the country who have seen the gap and began importing these products directly from the Far East. And with that, they have the opportunity of importing them and even having their own branded shops, which are actually selling this product and are able to make insane amounts of money. I was conversing with one of the business persons a few weeks ago, and even I was shocked to learn, for example, they make 4 times the cost of what they incur to bring them into the country. Think about it. Some are making a profit of even almost 100%. That is insane business to get into. Okay, guys, that's the 4th product you can look to import into the country. And related to that, the 5th product which actually you can import into the country is accessories and also jewelry. These are actually complementary of the clothing items. Things like, for example, scarf. Things like, for example, handbags. Things like, for example, even jewelry out there, earrings. Guys, Also, China is making these products much faster at way better prices. Why not jump or even specialize in accessories? Get them into the country. Things like, for example, ladies' bags. Guys, these have insane amounts of money. And of course, you as an importer, you can also put your markup on there and then collaborate with key wholesalers in the country, sell to them, and also for them to sell at a profit. In other words, in the entire spectrum, we have each and every person out there enjoying the piece of the cake. And business is gonna go on. So you could also look to jump into this space and specialize in, for example, accessories and be able to make good amounts of money, right? And then, guys, the sixth product, which actually also, guys, you can make a killing on importing from China into Kenya, is you importing beauty products. I don't need to say much on this, guys. Kenyan ladies use awesome beauty products out there. Things like, for example, different kinds of body lotions, hair products, makeup products, you name it. Anything relating to beauty products, you can import into the country and make insane amounts of money. More so, if you get them from the Far East, because of the economies of scale, guys, be sure you're going to be able to make good amounts of money. Because we're also talking about the kind of products which are ever in demand. To give you an example, if someone is used, for example, to using makeup, be sure they're going to continuously be using makeup. In other words, these products have kind of like an even curve with regards to how the demand looks like. So jump into this space of getting beauty products into the country and be sure you're going to be making a killing on that front too. And then the last product I want to discuss, product number 7, is anything relating to food stuff. Also, guys, food is a key thing in Kenya. And if you can address the food headache in the country, be sure you're going to be able to make insane amounts of money. Thinking about, for example, getting like rice from the Far East, getting things like sugar from the Far East. With that also, you can be able to make good amount of money. And of course, food stuff, you might require, for example, additional license depending on the kind of food stuff you want to import in the country. But be sure you're going to be able to make good amount of money too, because you're talking about the kind of products which are equally even in demand throughout the year. What do you all think about, for example, these products I've talked about? Do you think these 7 products can assist you achieve profitability by importing them into the country from the Far East? Personally, I think these are awesome products for you to jump into and to start on when you're thinking about importing things into the country. What do you think about these products? Thanks a lot for watching this video. I look forward to share with you other awesome videos next time. Bye bye, and you all take care.